history.
We had just over a decade with the Aventador, and now its successor is finally here. Say hello to the 2024 Revuelto, first ever plug-in hybrid Lamborghini, a two-seat supercar that can produce a whopping 1,015 horsepower. Designed to mimic a spaceship. Stick till the end to find out how does this Lamborghini keeps rain out with an open back like that, which has a lot of vents and openings. Lamborghini named this Revuelto as a tribute to a fighting bull who was apparently quite the celebrity in the bullrings of Barcelona circa 1880. The closest English translation of the name is mixed up or scrambled eggs. Lamborghini usually names its cars after Spanish fighting bulls. Euro, Aventador, Murcielago. Someone is there at the Lamborghini with a book of names of bulls. But there is a special clever reason behind them naming it as mixed up. If you can figure out that in this video, you are a true genius. This is a complete review you won't see anywhere else. So stay with me as I will be comparing this with the Aventador as well. Let's start with the performance and powertrain. Lamborghini insists on the abbreviation HPEV to describe the new car, for high-performance electrified vehicle. Not that sexy, but it probably sounds better in Italian. Performance is up by 30%, emissions reduced by the same amount. Top speed is 217 miles per hour or 350 kilometers per hour. 0 to 62 or 0 to 100 in kilometers per hour takes just 2.5 seconds. 124 miles per hour or 200 kilometers per hour in 7 seconds. Before getting into the numbers, I want to point out this engine has no cover. It's on full display. Revuelto comes with a naturally aspirated 6.5-liter V12, supplemented by 3 electric motors to produce a combined 1,015 horsepower. It's a 4-wheel drive with a 8-speed dual-clutch gearbox. We also say this 8-speed twin clutch. It was a creation of Lamborghini of its own, so that it can have faster and lighter shifts. Compared to the Aventador that came with a single clutch gearbox, this twin clutch is smooth on shifts. You don't get the nods during gear shifts. And an all-electric mode for this plug-in hybrid is available. Combustion engine produces 814 horsepower and 525 pound-feet of torque. 6.5-liter V12 engine is the same size as the engine in Aventador. But this new V12 is 17 kilograms lighter and also much more powerful than the most powerful Aventador, which is the ultimate that has 780 horsepower. Revuelto delivers an astonishing 825 horsepower. And it hits this number at an insane 9,250 RPM. Engine has also been turned 180 degrees in the engine bay compared to the old car. There are 3 electric motors. 2 electric motors on the front axle are oil-cooled axial flux units, more compact than a radial flux version and have a higher power and torque density. Each motor produces 110 kilowatts and weighs around 18.5 kilograms. 1 motor for each wheel. Each produces 148 horsepower. Their front motors drives the front wheels independently. This enables 4-wheel drive and torque vectoring for improved cornering. The reverse is handled by the 3 motors. The third motor is integrated into the twin-clutch gearbox. On top of the gearbox, they placed the electric motor with 148 brake horsepower, and it has 3 purposes. First, it is a starter motor. Second, it feeds energy back into the battery. Third, it supplies additional power to the rear axle along with the V12 engine. There is a 3.8 kilowatt-hours lithium-ion battery that can be recharged on a 7 kilowatt outlet in 30 minutes. This got 108 water-cooled pouch cells. The car can be plugged in and fully juiced up in 30 minutes on a 7 kilowatts power supply, but it's much more likely to be replenished under regenerative braking. EV-only range is around 10 miles. The Revuelto is good for a total power output of 1,015 horsepower in maximum Casa mode. Exterior. Let's start with the chassis. The Revuelto utilizes a new monocoque chassis that Lamborghini says is the first to have a fully carbon fiber front crash structure. It is also the front storage compartment. Lamborghini calls the chassis mono fuselage. Carbon fiber makes this 10% lighter than the Aventador and 25% stiffer. Much stronger anti-roll bars reduce the steering ratio by 10%. Incredible design and a lot of aerodynamics at play. Starting from the bonnet. It is made out of carbon fiber. 3-piece daytime running lights cannot be seen elsewhere. Epsilon-shaped, also used Y-shaped tail lights to keep up with the consistency. Headlights live inside and are more like underneath the bonnet. In the nose we have the equipments like radars, parking sensors, cameras, adaptive cruise control sensors for the ADAS system, which stands for Advanced Driver Assistance System. Overall front looks more like Huracan Technica in the front. If you see it from the side, it looks like the face of the Predator with those orange lines on the bumper. Moving on to the sides, 21-inch wheels on the front and 22 at the back. Bespoke Bridgestone tires reduce understeer by increased width of 4% in the front than the Aventador. Ceramic discs are 10 mm wider than the Aventador. 360 cameras underneath the side mirrors. Pillars over the top of the car are actually part of the new carbon mono fuselage. 66% more downforce than the Aventador. Carbon fiber opted winglet behind the front wheel directs the air through the air intakes at the back. And a bit higher you have the engine air intake. Carbon fiber side skirts are optional. A bit towards the back we have flying buttresses. Weird name that comes from masonry structure. There is a lot going in the back. Starting from the bottom. You have a massive diffuser. Those high-mounted jet fighter-inspired 4 exhaust pipes divided into 2 are placed in the center. You don't see this elsewhere. Looks beautiful from the side. Sitting beneath this active spoiler, which raises to 3 different positions depending on the driving settings. Y-shaped tail lights add more uniqueness to this beast. You have a busy back with all those shapes, creases and vents. More importantly, the engine has no cover. Engine itself is 17 kilograms lighter than the Aventador and rotated 180 degrees. Gearbox is placed in the back of the engine. This placement is called transverse gearbox. Only 2 other cars in Lamborghini history ever had a transverse gearbox. Only 2 other cars in the Essenza and SCV12, which was a track-only Aventador. They went for this configuration to free up the space towards the center to place the 3.8 kWh battery. On top of the gearbox they placed the electric motor with 148 brake horsepower. Interior. Entry to the beast. Button for the doors placed near these vents. Doors open outwards, we call these scissor doors or Lambo doors. They are a distinctive feature of Lamborghini cars and are hinged at the front of the door, allowing them to open vertically instead of horizontally like traditional car doors. Much narrower side rocker. Completely new interior. Lot of the interior is done with carbon fiber, which comes standard. No chrome is seen. Seats bolstered on sides and the middle sections are quite rigid. More headroom of 26 mm and overall 24 mm taller than the Aventador. The battery is housed in this central tunnel. Behind the seats there is a decent amount of shelf-shaped space. There are 3 displays. 9-inch landscape passenger display, 8-inch portrait infotainment system in the middle and the 12-inch digital instrument cluster behind the steering wheel. Notice 2 USB sockets under the infotainment system. Center infotainment system can be used to swipe and send widgets to the passenger or the driver display. Underneath that there is a bit of storage. At the center console we've got the famous flip-up cover from the start-stop button, the familiar gear selector. We have a redesigned steering wheel. Optional carbon fiber on the top and the bottom. 4 dials. This manually adjusts the rear wing at the back. This one is for the nose lift system. This one is for the EV modes. Select between EV, hybrid and recharge sub-modes. Then with this red one you can select between driving modes. City mode. It defaults to EV only mode and limits power to 180 horsepower. If the battery is running low, V12 kicks in to fully recharge it in 6 minutes. Strata mode. Runs on V12 and max power rises to 874 horsepower with active aero and torque vectoring enabled. Sport mode. Max power is 895 horsepower and suspension tuned. Casa Plus mode. Unlock the full potential 10-15 horsepower ESC can now be fully disengaged and launch control can be activated. On the back of the steering wheel you have the media controls and the controls for the widgets on the display. Shift paddles are mounted to the steering wheel column. Mirrors and window controls on the door and light controls on the side. Different options for the seat inlays and the stitching depending on the preference, and around 70 color option to decorate your cabin. Pricing. Pricing hasn't been announced yet for the 2024 Lamborghini REVUELTO. But given the Aventador cost more than $500,000 when it was discontinued earlier this year, don't expect the REVUELTO to give you much change from your $600,000 check. Before I go, let me remind you to comment your thoughts and let me know your favorite supercar down below in the comments section. If you liked this video, show us by smashing the like button and keep our channel subscribed for more informative videos like this. See you in the next video.